going to show you how to set up trailing stops in NinjaTrader 8. Now, it is a little bit more complicated than some platforms because it gives you so many more options that are so good. If you want a bunch of these pre-configured, head over to our website, get our ATM pack. It's absolutely free. Grab that, load it up in your NT8, and you'll be good to go. I'm going to show you how to do these templates for trailing stops now, but if you want the shortcut, that's what you're looking for. Okay, so first of all, so just as an example, what you're seeing are orders being placed and a trailing effect automatically happening as soon as price starts going our way, locking in profits. Now this is on a short pattern. This is an XABCD pattern here, and you can see our target is stationary and our stop is just trailing behind there. So once the target gets hit, the stop is then obviously canceled and removed, and you can go on to your next trade.
I know you wanna get it, work until you sweating, XABCD locked in, just keep going at it, success is bound to happen.
What you're gonna do is you're gonna open up your chart trader, that's this icon up here, and you can use ATMs in a bunch of different order screens. If you need to watch a video on order types, you can watch this video. But the one that you'll want to do is you'll want to open up your ATM strategies. Now you'll see I have a list of pre-populated ones. This is part of this ATM pack I was already mentioning to you. These are going to be orders, like for instance, if I click on one and I hit buy market, you'll see it already puts in my targets and my stops for me. Part of that function, if I go in here and if I edit it, is going to be my trailing stops. So I can go and look at my stop strategy, and these are all my trailing stops and different other options. You can see I have some for futures, I have some for FX, and you can see there's different options. I can trail by 5 pips or 5 ticks and 10 ticks. You can do a whole bunch of different things, but this is where you would select what trailing stop you want when you enter in the market. So this specific order, I have 3 orders that get entered, as you saw, can have different trailing stops for each one. This is great depending on what your strategy is going to entail. So you might want to look at these and configure them to your needs, but essentially you're going to have them all set up right here. You press OK, you hit buy market. Not only do you have 3 different positions, but they all have different styles of trailing stops. Now, you make it more simple and have them all have the same one, but once you have these ATMs configured, then you can go in and you can select it, just the ATM, and all your trailing stops are already set up for you, right? So then you can come in here and you can actually save this as a template, and that way you wouldn't have to keep doing it every time. So trailing stops are definitely easier in NT8 once you have them set up, because all you're going to do is select the position type you want, which is going to include your trailing stop, hit buy market, and it's all done for you, right? So depending on what you're looking for. So again, that ATM pack you can get from our website, it's already configured with your trailing stops, but I'm going to go and talk about them more in depth now if you want to set them up. We also have a free course that's part of the ATM pack that we send you that walks you through this in more detail if you want to get more in depth on something specific. So make sure you check that out. Okay, first things first is we're going to say none for the ATM strategy, and we're going to start out by making a custom one. Okay, so how many orders you want, how big of a position you want, this is going to depend on what you might be trading. You have your choice between ticks and pips and all this. This is important for trailing stops because you need to know how many orders you're going to be using in your trailing stop. So for example, if I just wanted to have one position, one contract, and I'm looking at trading futures, this is something that you might be looking at, but you'll want to take your stop strategy here. This is our one order. You can put in, okay, I want a 10 tick stop and I'm going to have a 20 tick target. Now that just goes for your stops and your profit. Now you have your stop strategy. This is what you're wanting to do. We're going to select custom for this as well, so we can build it out. Now we have our options. So you have your auto break even. So at what point are you going to want to move this to break even? So let's just say maybe you're up 5 ticks and you're going to move your stop to break even. It's whatever you need. And then you have the plus option. We have a whole article on why you wouldn't want to use this. So just leave it at 0. If you are interested, I will link that in the description below. And then you have your auto trail. So are you going to use a 1-step, 2-step, or 3-step auto trail? Okay, so I'm going to do this as a one step just for this example, and we're going to put in 4. Actually, no, we'll do 6 for stop, 4 for our profit trigger, and the frequency is going to be 2. So what this is basically saying is once that your trade has 4 ticks in profit, you're going to move your stop loss back 6 ticks and also move it up for every additional 2 ticks in profit. So it's not going to go, I know some platforms go tick by tick by tick and it looks like it's being brought up 1 point at a time. You can actually change it. Maybe it's going to jump. So it's going to be every 2, right? So depending on what you want to do there. So that's how you would read that. Now let's just say we want to have a 2-step. So now you have a second step here. And what we're going to do is we're going to put in 3, 10, and we're going to leave it at 1. So how this would make sense is you're basically going to say to yourself, then once our trade has 10 ticks in profit, tighten the move or stop loss back 3 ticks and increase the rate at which the stop loss is adjusted and move it up for every 1 additional tick. I'm not going to say to trade news, but let's just say you had a news event and you're going to be using a trailing stop and price just decides to fly in one direction. Maybe the first half of that move, you're going to move the frequency up every second. But once you get halfway up, it's going to go tick by tick by tick. That is where like a 2-step thing in your head might make more sense. So I don't know if you're going to be using a 2-step or a 3-step, but like I said, NinjaTrader is awesome because it lets you customize a bunch of things. And this is why you're going to want to actually understand what you're doing, because you might see this as a certain advantage. And some people, when they use certain trading platforms, might not be able to do this, and therefore it might not be to their advantage. So maybe you have like an XABC pattern like the one that we have here below, and you're trying to get in, and as you creep up, you want to start tightening that stop even more. So maybe your frequency might be every 5 ticks you move it up, and then as you get closer to that first target, you're going to increase that to 1. That's certainly an option, right? So a lot of people like using trailing stops in certain situations. Maybe they have to step away from their computer. Maybe they are using it as a way to manage their trade when they can't be around their screen for whatever reason. There's a whole bunch of different ways. Maybe they can't move things as fast because they're trading a very quick time frame and they need to have that trailing stop built in there. That is where you're going to want to use these, and why it might be to your advantage to use something that is a little bit more in depth that could even help you squeeze out every little pip or tick or whatever out of the market that you can. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. Now what you can do after you built this is you can then save this as a template and call it, I don't know, I usually use a naming scheme so I know what market it might be for. And then I'll just call it test video for now. But you can save that, and then anytime you want to recall that specific break even or trailing stop strategy, you can move this and just select the one that you want. So you might have one that just automatically moves it to break even and does not move it any further than that, which is, again, a very useful situation. You might have one that will move it to break even and jump to break even and then start trailing your stop at that point. So you can use all these different types of strategies in your NT8, in your ATMs. That's where you're going to find all these, and then you're going to save. We saved our strategy as a template. We're going to save the whole ATM now as a template, and we're going to call it futures. And you can put in your entry info, right, on how many orders and whatnot. And then you might want to include your stop info as well, right? So that you know, okay, this is a futures market. This is where or how it's going to enter. And this is what kind of stops attached to it. And then just hit save and press OK. Now, what happens if you're in the market? You've already placed your order and then you want to attach a trailing stop to it. Well, that's kind of when, here, we'll just buy the market here. I'm just going to say custom or none. So we don't have any ATM. We're going to buy the market. Okay. Now I got to open up my NinjaTrader 8 control panel. You can see here that I have my one contract here. What I need to do is right click on it, go to apply ATM strategy, and then select that one I want. So if I have a break-even strategy attached to a certain ATM, like I know I have one with this one, then I can apply that to this position. Now my ATM is going to, or my break even part stop strategy is going to apply to that ATM that was just added to this account. So if you have any questions on this, let me know in the comments below. Subscribe to more of our videos. We're going to be doing these. We did this video, this ATM stop strategy one, as one of our first ones 7 years ago, and people are still wondering, is this relevant? And the answer is yes. So we're updating our content a bit with that. If you want more of these tutorials and you want to know how they can be used for you, be sure to subscribe and check out our other videos as well. On our page, there's tons of information regarding NT8, the XABCD patterns that we use, all this stuff, what this blue squiggly line is, how that can help you. But if you have any questions, by all means, drop me a line and I will get back to you.